This is a Podco original.
What did you notice that changed between season 1 and 2?
There were paparazzi.
Really?
There weren't
I don't remember
paparazzi
that.
season 1.
Right, because season 1, we shot in the dark.
Well, nobody knew.
We were finished with all of season 1 before
Right.
it even aired on TV.
Right. And then season 2, we had to have things put up at the gates. Remember?
Oh, that's
We had to have
right.
things put up at the gates so there was
I
privacy because
totally
there was
forgot about
paparazzi
that.
at all the gates and they were trying to take you guys. Selena got
Yeah.
hammered.
Yeah,
but,
Selena really did.
So it became, and then the Jonas Brothers were there. I remember that.
Yeah, because they were
I
shooting Jonas
remember
at the time.
Harper, Jen and I had a lot of fun with coming up with ideas for Harper where we thought, let's have her makeup be just outrageous and kind of silly and she doesn't know what she's doing. And then the next episode or the next day, they said to me, so we need to tone down.
You and I had a little bit too much fun.
Yeah, we had so much. I was like, oh my goodness. And I still, when people ask me now, I still say, I was like, well, Jen was my little Barbie.
Aw.
So I was like, she's my little porcelain, my little 40s porcelain doll that I would be like, oh my God, I could do your face is just so beautiful. I can do anything to this face and it'll be gorgeous.
Was it different working for Disney rather than Nickelodeon?
Yes, a little bit. In light of everything that's happening right now, I do feel like in the limited exposure that I've had, I feel like Nickelodeon might have been easier on the kids.
Does Danny Devito make jokes all the time? Is he a card or is he calm? Because I worked with Christopher Lloyd and he was like this. Action. Wow, wow, wow. You know what I
turned it
mean?
on?
Like,
Yeah.
he turns it on in the thing. But what is he kind of, chill while he's not on or?
Danny's lovely.
Yeah.
He's also just magical. He's so smart and such a great storyteller and charming and wonderful.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Wizards of Waverly Pod. We have another amazing guest, and if you just can't get enough of the guests and the rewatches and all of the magic,
Then go to Spotify, Apple, and follow us there or anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Today's guest is one of my favorite people in the whole world, other than Jen Stone
that's
and my
great.
wife
Well,
and
she's-
my dog Tony. No.
Jesus Christ. Well, she's hard not to love.
Yes.
So I think you guys are gonna love this episode.
Check it out. We are on Wizards of Waverly Pod.
So we have a very special guest today, the amazing Thea Samuels, who was a makeup artist on seasons 1 when we in our beautiful little bubble before we started airing.
That's
and
right.
Season 2, so she got to see kind of that shift between, just doing it on our own and doing it for people.
Right.
So Thea Samuels, welcome to the party,
Wizards
baby.
of Waverly Pod.
Thank you.
My cool big sister.
So nice to see you both.
We're so
It's good to
happy
see you
to have
too.
you.
And also,
Thank you for
Thea's
having me.
the coolest.
Yeah.
So.
Like you say there's good people and then there's Thea.
Wait, that makes her sound like she's not a good person.
No, like
Wait
you're
a second.
better than that. That's what I was trying to imply.
I'm just being an
Thank you.
asshole per usual. So we like to kind of like go through people's careers and how they got to Wizards and then what happens after. So you
Okay.
actually started as a dancer, right?
Well,
Or you did dance?
I did dance.
Okay, because I remember my 16th birthday asking you about like, can you connect me to swing dancers? Because I was a little old lady, and which is why we bonded.
Yes, I had no. You were 14 going on 45.
Right?
But I had this like
Fun.
I had this like old Hollywood Sweet 16, and I like needed to find swing dancers, and you like connected me to the swing
Yeah.
dancers at my birthday, and like did
That's
my
right.
makeup and all that stuff like a million years ago. So how did you like get into dance? I mean, I think like I researched you like were a dancer in Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
how
were
did we go
opening
from
credits?
dancing to makeup?
The David
Well,
Lynch movie. Is that what you
Yeah.
said?
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
we danced for my ex-husband and dance partner Christian Thompson, who's amazing. He might be going by Christian Letts now. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Phenomenal human being, just incredibly talented,
Yeah.
and there's not a bone in his body that's not talented. He's a freak of nature.
Yeah.
and just lovely. We used to teach dance at some point, and I grew up. My mom was a dance instructor. She went to Juilliard and was part of the dance instruction at where did she go to college? Vassar.
Wow.
And
Jeez.
real dumb. And studied like balancing when she's amazing. So she taught when I was up until I was like 11 or 12, and I just danced most of my life. So we had a friend in Portland who did makeup,
Yeah.
and we were kind of transitioning out of it. And so I decided to go to makeup school, and I have a bunch of fine arts background. So it was just it was kind of a marriage of two perfect things. It was artistry and working with people.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like the isolation of doing fine art.
And dedication. I mean, you have to be really, to do dance, you have to be very dedicated to
Yeah.
that, right?
Ah, super disciplined.
But I think you also get you get a high from it. So it becomes also addicting in a way. Like it's fun and there's always something different. You're always learning. So it's great. I mean, art is the same way. So
Well,
it's
I
just a
feel like any
different
kind of
form.
performance, you get that high because it's that
Yeah.
mixture of like nerves and that high when you succeed. And the stakes are so much more raised when you're
Yeah.
performing, especially when it's live.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. Are you having like flashbacks?
Well, I think of competing. Christian loved to compete, and I was going to either throw up or shit my pants. Like,
Yeah.
I was
Fight or flight, baby.
I can't. I was sweating. I was like, no, don't make me do this.
Yeah,
My mind would
yeah.
go blank. I wouldn't know what I was doing. I was just hated it.
Well, it's fight or
Hated it.
flight, baby. It's your body
Yeah.
just being like, evacuate everything.
He thrived on it.
Yeah. Some
And
people
we were-
do.
He just thrived. He was like, yeah, let's bring it. I'm like,
And you're like,
okay.
no, thank you.
Yeah, but I just would kind of just ride his
How old,
coattails.
how old were you when you went to makeup school?
Late 20s.
Late 20s? Okay.
Late 20s. So 27, 26, 27, 28, somewhere in there. Late 20s.
And then like I said, how did you, coming out of makeup school, how did you start working on film and TV?
I volunteered my time. But the
Well, you
great
kinda
thing
have
you
to.
have to.
You have to.
No,
get a
you just
certain
don't get
amount-
paid. You have to
Yeah.
learn somehow.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So
true. Well,
I
it's like
couldn't
doing
pay
extra
my
work as an
bills.
actor.
Yeah,
you know?
I couldn't. Like my mom totally helped carry me, cover my bills. I worked part time, and I worked on like AFI films or UCLA or USC, and just project after project. And I knew people in the business, but I didn't have experience. You have to have the experience. It's a great industry for people who are young, except for they lack the experience. And the experience as you get through time is what the gift is when you go into this business, right? And that's true of anything, I think, is truly.
Yeah.
So, and then I had a really good friend, Dean Meinard, who was a producer over Evolution. Speaking of bravo, bravo, bravo.
We were
So-
talking, just so the audience knows, we were talking about like our safe word if because we always like have our guests, like if they don't want something to be in there, we have like a safe word that they can say and then we'll cut it out
Right,
later.
and if you're on Beverly Hills Housewives, and if you're a fan, you know that Denise Richards every 5 seconds goes bravo, bravo, bravo. But the fact that we know that means that they left it in.
I have
which
no,
is
I have
amazing.
no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So okay, so
I
speaking
only
of
got
bravo,
sucked
bravo,
into
bravo.
that during the
Pandemic?
strike.
Oh, the strike. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
Sorry, I
it's
didn't mean
okay to watch Beverly Hills
didn't say it
Housewives.
was.
I feel
Fine.
slightly judged.
It was
No, I'm
the-
kidding, I'm
I'm
kidding.
sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel. I just don't watch it.
It was the Scandival that everybody kept talking about that I
Oh,
finally was
got it.
like,
Okay.
all right, I'm gonna sit on the couch and what is this?
Yeah, I'm not
It's
better.
good
I have my
stuff.
crappy.
I've
shows
watched
as well.
every episode of the Beverly Hills
love
Housewives.
that you
Yeah,
watch
they're the
it.
best ones.
I think it's so great. Okay, we got off topic, which
I mean-
happens with us all the time.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, exactly. Bravo. But yeah, so bravo, bravo, bravo. You were going from Evolution.
Oh, yeah.
Evolution.
Yeah.
So then they would hire me for, and somebody that who is a DP and director, Rick Pendleton, helped me a lot with that too, and he would recommend me to producers. I mean,
Yeah.
he's to this day.
It's
I
all
still
word of mouth.
owe him
Yeah,
a
you
lifetime
need
of a career.
someone to like open the door. Yeah.
And he opened the door. I also went through it.
Yeah.
So you can lead a horse to water.
It's
I drank
true.
a lot.
Slurp.
So I did the work though. I was willing to do the work and I was willing to stay. I would always stay extra later and help clean up. I would do that. I mean, I PA'd on the Gong Show, like one of the
Oh, the
versions of the
Gong
Gong
Show?
Show. Like for Dean at that time, he would hire me, but I
Yeah.
would do other jobs.
Wait a minute, with what's his name? Who was the
Which version?
not Richard was it not Richard Dawson?
No,
Who's
well,
the guy
no.
who was like a spy or something?
Oh, really?
The
I don't
original
know.
Gong Show.
Not the original. I'm not that old. Easy, Tiger.
But did they bring it back with him or
No, it wasn't him.
was a
All I
whole
remember,
different-
it was being in the elevator with the Catwoman and Enigma. You remember them?
Yeah.
You remember them. I remember standing there thinking, I want to look, but I can't.
Yeah.
Don't stare, don't stare, don't stare. Don't be rude. But also, wow, talk about dedication.
Yeah.
Impressive. So, and then they would just hire me for promo stuff.
Yeah.
And then just more and more and more. And then
So
I
what
just
was
would
your
work all the
what was
time.
your first thing where you were like, I'm working on this is because we did a movie
We did a
together,
movie. That
and
might have been one of the
Art-
first ones.
Art of Deception. And I remember for me, and I don't know if you know this, but we all sat down. It was a no budget movie.
You want to
what
know
I
how
mean?
much I got paid a week?
Nothing.
$150.
$150.
That's a week.
Do you know how many hours per day we worked? You want to do that math?
Well, I have to tell you, we sat down with the director guy, whatever his name was, and he goes, "Yeah, we're gonna do Rogue, like whatever you're wearing, and you do your own makeup." And I was like, "I'm not doing this movie. What do you mean? We have to wear makeup. We have to put. You have to. These are essential things.
Yeah.
So it's possible that you got on there
Yeah. Because of you.
Yeah,
Because you complained.
Thank you.
because I complained.
Thank
Exactly.
you. Well, I got on there.
No, you stood up for yourself.
Yeah, and I remember the first day that we met. It was outside, wherever the house we
was a
were
house.
working at. And it was outside, and the makeup area was a chair, and where you were,
Yeah.
and I'll never forget that.
Well, Chelsea Behrens did makeup on it. She brought me on. She also
Yeah.
brought me on to Wizards.
Yeah.
That's how that happened. Chelsea and I did hair on that movie.
Which blows my mind
And-
that you did hair.
What? I just looked at her name. Our
Uh-oh.
beautiful brunette.
Oh,
Joyce.
from
Joyce.
Yes,
Joyce.
I have it right here. Hold on, we'll get it.
Pull it up.
Who was
Thank
an
you.
actress
We got
in the
One
in
of the
this
guys.
movie that David and Thea met on.
Yeah. She was a hair futzer, which I understand because I am too. Joyce Heiser.
is that a technical term? A hair futzer? Like they keep
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
futzing with their
No,
hair.
that's the thing you don't like about me because I futz with my hair.
Well,
It's when
I
you
do
touch
too.
the
It's
hair.
up, it's
Asked
down,
me.
it's
Jen
no.
said, "Is there something that I do that you?" And I'm like, You asked. I don't.
You're
I
a hair
can't tell you,
futzer.
because it's not. But she.
I think about
does-
it every time now.
She does her hair
Because I know it looks weird. I don't want to just stick on my
She
face.
kind of futzes.
I do the same thing.
But your hair is perfect. I mean,
It's
Jesus,
not though.
look at
Sometimes you
your
have like
hair.
a caca. Or
Yeah, you have a little
you know?
rogue
A little
flyaways.
flyaway,
Yeah.
I just don't have any hair at
So,
all. I just don't.
Enjoy
But
not
you
being stressed
you were
about it.
just having your first baby.
That was
During that movie?
31 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
I was 21.
Was it your second
But Joyce was in a movie that I had just
Oh, we
loved,
loved.
so much. Where just one of the boys,
Just one
or
of the
something like
boys.
that.
One of the
And
guys?
One of the
I think
guys,
so, yeah.
and Stephen Jenkins, who was in, is it Third Eye Blind? Is
Yes.
that what it is?
Yeah.
He was dating someone who was very famous, and he didn't
When
have a
wasn't he?
car. Oh, did he? Well, he was dating
Yeah.
Charlize Theron.
Oh, that's right.
And he was breaking up with her
Why
and
would you
needed
do
me
that?
to. I know, right? I mean, I was like, this is odd.
Who breaks up with a Charlize Theron?
Him. And then
Morons.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
he didn't have
Sorry,
a car.
Stephen.
So he needed me to drive him to her house to return something.
Oh,
and I was like,
God.
he's out of his fucking mind.
No
you know?
kidding.
Yeah, clearly.
Uh.
I will say his assistant, Sarah Porter, and I still are friends.
Oh, wow.
In fact, she was just in town.
Aw.
And I didn't get to see her because I had to stay at work late. And
Yeah.
she, at the timing, she's in music still. So, they're night owls and we're
Day people.
morning monsters. I mean,
Day
it's
walkers.
But
awful.
he
Day
doesn't.
walkers.
They're not still working together.
No, they're not still working together, but they were working together then. And she and I are still very close.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that funny?
Jen always says this. There's 3 reasons why you work: either for the money, the people, or something else.
Money, people, or the materials, like the character of the story.
I
I actually got that from Maria's husband, David.
Oh,
Oh,
That's who
he's
taught me
so
that.
lovely. I
He's
met him
the loveliest.
before I
He's-
met Maria.
Did
Oh,
you really?
really?
Yeah, I worked with him on NCIS. That was my first
Nice.
union job out of it.
Hey.
So how do you do that? How do you go and be like?
And then we
I'm-
got to get to Wizards because otherwise the
Yeah,
fans
we're
are
gonna be here all
freaked
night.
out.
Wizards,
if it's
wizards,
30,
wizards.
if it's 30 years, then so eventually Chelsea was asked to do the show. I think Tanya Saylor did the pilot, and she had recommended Chelsea to do the show. And then Chelsea asked me if I wanted to join her on the show. She was the department head, and I was her key.
Yeah.
And
So a department head is the person that's in charge
She's the boss.
of everything.
She's the boss
She's
lady.
the boss. And then the key is
not in charge of everything, thankfully, and is there to support the department.
got it.
head.
And then sometimes people come in, and if you have a lot of people, you bring in
Mhm.
other people to
Yeah.
do.
That's right. You bring in additional makeup artists or hair people or whatever it is, and they take care of multiple people. But the department head oversees everything. The key or the assistant department head now, because they've gotten rid of that term, is the second to make sure that She's the second, or he is the second in charge, or they.
Yeah.
And so that was so NCIS was your first.
I was a day player on that one for sure. I was I was the additional person that was brought in to like oversee the photo shoot, the second, third unit or whatever.
Right.
They're so lovely and nice, and it was.
Well, it's such a
great.
well-oiled machine on that show. Okay, so Chelsea brings you on because she's the department head. You're the key on Wizards, season 1 and 2. What do you remember about that time?
That was the second curtain call back in the day because Jen's in there. Because the first episode was the magic carpet that we shot.
Yeah.
And so you were on, you didn't do the original pilot.
No,
right?
I did not. So this would have been my first episode as well.
Right. Or the second episode.
Second episode.
But
And had you done a kid's show ever before? Or
No.
you.
I hadn't.
She said,
didn't.
by the
You're
way,
like,
for the
I
people
hate
who are listening, she said no, like, why the fuck did I do this?
Actually, I disagree. It was great. It was multicam. I was really excited.
Multicam typically means you have a 9-to-5 job ish.
Yeah, it's the most
not-
bank hours of any industry in our of any show in our industry.
Yeah.
So you work the most then, you're saying? The most banked hours?
No, like it's the most from like
Stable.
Stable.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
fantastic.
So it's like you're not working 12-hour days.
Because if you're
because-
doing a single camera, like Always Sunny, or you're doing a multi-camera,
Yeah.
you're there like a film shoot. You're there from 6 to 6 or from 7 to 2 in the morning or something, right?
That's correct. Yeah. I will say though, It's Always Sunny is the exception to the rule. It's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, I meant to say like a single
Yeah.
camera, like Modern Family or something that they're shooting.
That was also a
Somebody-
horrible example.
It's also
they had
well-oiled
dreams.
Did you work
Yes.
on that?
Yeah.
No, I have friends who did that, and
Ah.
that was a dream of a show too. It was the same
Yeah.
thing.
Are there any shows that it takes a long time to shoot?
Yeah.
A lot of single cams. A
Any
lot of single
hour-long
cams.
drama.
Yeah.
Think of it. I don't think of it as because Sunny is a single cam, but technically we have 3 cameras going because they
Right.
improvise so much they
Yeah.
can't.
Which people don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, with the Office and stuff like that,
Yeah.
they're shooting sometimes 3 cameras
Yeah.
or 2 cameras, and you're doing it all at the same time, which is sometimes can be tricky because you're lighting. You know what I mean?
I do know it.
Because they're like, all right, let's get another camera in here, and then you spend 20 to save time,
Yeah.
and then you spend like hours
Lighting
trying
it.
to light it.
Or the
for
lighting
all
just
cameras.
looks weird
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
don't light
Or
it
somebody
right.
doesn't hit their mark and blocks somebody else's light.
Okay, I can't judge that because I was the worst about that. I still am not great because I like get in the moment and then I'm just like, it's like a guideline. And I just kind of like, Selena was a pro at hitting her mark and all the time
Yeah.
would be like, and like slightly move me because I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm blocking the light. So I can't judge.
That's
the
fair.
That's so
fucking
fun.
worst
As a
at
person
that.
who's watching the monitor, I absolutely can judge.
Yeah.
I twitch. Okay, so first
But
go.
but to
go,
say
go.
that to the watching the monitor, so while we're shooting the show, you're there watching to make sure every take, everything is in place and looking right.
Well, not
Right.
everything. I only make up.
In your department.
That's my only job.
You're like, the
I would
lighting's
be
off,
a
the
horrible
sound.
script supervisor. That's
Oh, Susie Q.
Susie Q.
Yeah, she's the best. She's
Oh my
doing
gosh.
Night Court right now.
Oh, is she?
Oh, with
Yeah.
Roxy.
Yeah.
Is Roxy
Bringing
over
it
there?
back.
Yeah, Roxy's at night court.
That's great. I know the costume department. over there.
Sitcoms are like happening again.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
You know.
They're
Goodness,
dreamy.
they're
Yeah,
dream jobs.
the
They're
best.
dream jobs.
Okay, back to Wizards.
What
Sorry.
do you
Wizards.
remember? I know. I'm sorry, guys. So for those at home, we get to have our little reunions, and then like we try to bring it about Wizards because that's what the thing's
it's
about. Okay, so what did you notice that changed between season 1 and 2? Since season 1 was our little bubble, we shot it without anyone seeing, and then season 2, people had seen it. So
There were paparazzi.
really,
There
Oh,
weren't
I don't remember that.
paparazzi season 1.
Right, because season 1 we shot in the dark.
Well, nobody knew.
We were finished with all of season 1 before
Right.
it even aired on TV.
Right. And then season 2, we had to have things put up at the gates. Remember?
that's
We had to have
right.
things put up at the gates so there was
I
privacy because
totally
there was
forgot about
paparazzi
that.
at all the gates and they were trying to take pictures of you guys. Selena got
Yeah.
hammered.
Yeah,
but,
Selena
like,
really did.
So it became, and then the Jonas Brothers were there. I remember that.
Yeah, because they
I
were shooting Jonas
remember-
at the time.
Yeah. So it became.
Did you work
a
with them
private-
on
No,
no.
I think they would just come by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because she was
So-
dating Nick at the time
Yeah.
in the first and second season.
Yeah,
I remember
so-
on behind she wrote Selena loves Nick on like everything with like little heart. It's like
I don't remember that.
It's like freshman year crush. I remember that because I was
Right.
there for all of
You
it.
saw it. Yeah. So,
Okay, so-
that's one of the major things I remember going, what was
Yeah.
happening? And I thought,
Right.
oh,
Well, it's
gosh,
like about a
such
bunch of kids.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
it's such a violation of privacy.
Yeah.
And these are children. These are children we're talking about.
Yeah.
Leave them alone. That's in
Yeah.
France that would never happen.
Yeah.
Right? Like other countries leave these people alone.
It's
Yeah.
about them making a buck, you know?
Yeah.
Well, in the
Yeah.
hair and makeup room, something that's so special about like the hair and makeup room is it's kind of like the barber where you're like, you just like
It's a
talk.
barbershop.
It's a barbershop.
Yeah.
You like talk so much and like it's where you vent. It's where you're warming up for the day.
It's also where thankfully you tell me stuff and I'll forget it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is
So
safe.
perfect.
I don't know.
Perfect. But I remember like sitting in the chair and like talking about the shins and Portland and like the 1940s and
Oh
us
my
like
gosh.
totally vibing. You were like my cool big sister.
Yeah.
What are some of like the weird hair and makeup room stuff that you remember that you can share
Oh,
and not being the vault of secrecy?
I don't know if it was weird so much as just, you get to know everybody. It's
Yeah.
such an intimate
Yeah.
Oh.
position.
But there's certain people you didn't do everybody on the show.
No.
Right? There was certain
I did Jen.
you did Jen,
I did Maria.
did Maria.
The boys would sit in different chairs.
Well, there was only so much to do.
Yeah, there was what?
Mm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, you know.
3 boys.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
3 boys would move around. I feel
Right.
like I did your makeup more than Chelsea did, probably.
I think so.
I like this.
But
But it's also like
I
like,
can do
is
that
there
too.
a chair? Is there a chair open? You know?
yeah,
Is
when
there-
the chair is
Yeah.
open,
Oh,
you
I
just have to
remember
get
that.
people through because half the cast is going to school. So you get 20 minutes,
Right.
if that, with
Yeah.
them. Because, the camera will pick up on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, at that time, not as much, and especially with multicam.
Well, because we
cameras,
hadn't,
they
I
did
think
it.
we did like HD like halfway through the show.
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Because I remember being like, oh God, my acne.
But HD, like regular video, and then HD, you saw the makeup a
Everything.
lot
You
more, right?
saw
You had to
what you
change
did
it up.
last week.
You saw
You saw if you didn't wash your face 3 weeks ago in HD. You still do. It's awful.
It's-
By the way, I
hate
have
it.
an amazing
I'm not a nature show.
skincare routine now.
Congratulations.
telling
Cool.
You, I mean,
Welcome.
your
My
skin
wife-
looks
Should have
beautiful.
developed it
I
years ago.
wash and then I put like some, hydrating stuff, and then I cover it and then I slug it with other things.
Cover what? Your face? Are you putting
like
something over?
So he puts a
the-
bag
the
over his
serum-
head?
Yeah, that's what it
The
sounds like.
serum that I put on
Yeah.
has to be covered by the cream.
Yeah. You have to
and
lock
then,
that.
and then
Lock it in.
you lock it in with where you put like an Aquaphor kind of feel
David,
thing.
when-
on it.
What are you
And what-
putting on the end? Are you ever putting sunblock on?
Wow.
I'm coming after you.
Did you talk to Yulia?
David.
Yulia gets so mad at me that I don't wear sunblock enough.
And you live on the beach. Hold on though. Can we just establish what age did you finally establish a skincare routine?
Last week.
A few years ago.
Because I was at 13 being like, what do I do for my
That's
skin?
true.
Yeah,
She
no,
really
I
was.
mean, boys,
But, yeah.
you just kind of go
You just
with
rub
it, but-
sandpaper on it and go, I'm good.
It's fine. Yeah. It's different. And you have beautiful skin.
You're beautiful.
You always
skin.
have.
You're a beautiful
Thank
man.
You're
David.
welcome.
But the it going into HD did affect it, right? You did have
Absolutely.
to. So you had to tone it down. Is that what happened?
Well, I had never done multicam before. So I was instructed on how to do the makeup and that it was different because the lights are much more intense. So you have to alter the makeup a little bit. And that was you have to make people's skin look a little darker. You have to do all this different stuff.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been in that position yet. I hadn't traveled down that road yet. So that was a very sharp learning curve because I did that and then it didn't, that doesn't look
No,
right.
because we looked orange.
We
in a
looked
lot
orange, and
because
I
they
had
didn't
been
do screen
told-
tests.
Yeah, we didn't do screen tests, which is horrible. And I
Yeah.
remember have been told like you have to warm everybody up. I had been given those instructions.
Yeah.
And so then what happens in that situation is then the person sitting in your chair doesn't trust you because they look horrible.
Right.
And then you're trying to get people to trust you. You're like, no.
You're like, I'm just doing what I'm
just
told.
doing what I'm told.
Yeah.
And also I don't know this yet. I'm learning this.
Right.
Mhm.
So bear with me.
Because I remember
So-
the HD thing was like night and day. It literally was
Yeah.
like, okay, tomorrow we're going to be shooting in HD. And
Yeah.
you're like,
Mm.
what? Like, because
And
I remember us freaking out being like, I'm not a sports event. I'm not a nature show. Like, I don't want to be,
I still feel that way.
right?
Yeah.
Like, give me some Vaseline, like the studio system on the lens, please.
Just film, just an organic medium
Yeah.
is beautiful.
How do
Anything.
you, so, because we were touching a little bit of like, we didn't do screen tests. You had to find sort of the happy medium of everyone's skin tone.
While
and I know,
working, yeah.
and I
While
know
working.
like it was, yeah, like as we're going.
And we don't have time to say, let me
No.
just change that. Let me change that. You
Mhm.
have to, every day was just a tweak
How
constantly.
long until you felt like you were in the groove of what it was, or that you were happy with what you
I
did?
still feel like I'm constantly doing that. Probably comfortably season 2.
Yeah, that makes
Wow.
sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. There's a lot of stuff because when we rewatched season 1, there was a lot of like growing pains that we definitely
Yes.
saw.
Yes.
Of like us trying to find our characters, us trying
Yeah.
to find the costumes, the makeup.
Well, and with Harper, Jen and I had a lot of fun with coming up with ideas for Harper,
Yeah.
where we thought, let's have her makeup be just outrageous and kind
Yeah.
of silly, and she doesn't know what she's doing. And then the next episode or the next day, they said to me, "So we need to tone down Harper's makeup."
You and I had a little
Why?
bit too much
Yeah,
fun.
we had so much. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And I still, when people ask me now, I still say, I was like, "Well, Jen was my little Barbie."
Aw.
So I was like, she's my little porcelain, my little 40s porcelain doll that I would be like, oh my God, I could do your face is just so beautiful. I can do anything to this face and it'll be gorgeous.
When you also
So-
taught me how to do, which I still do to this day, you taught me how to do the like, because I was still figuring out my look and my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And you and I both had such a shared love of like the 40s and,
Yeah.
and like, you know, that whole era. You taught me how to do like the cat eyeliner
Oh, my
with like all this kind of stuff and like the red lip and not have it look like crayon all over my
Yeah.
face. So like you really helped me kind of find my
Oh,
little
God.
14-year-old look.
Good.
Woo.
Okay, I
So-
got 2 things.
You got way more. You got all the things. What was like your favorite look to do on the show? Was there a favorite episode or a look that you just really had a lot of fun doing?
Well, I really loved it first when we got to make fun characters, like before we were told no. I really loved the idea
Well,
of
the
being
funny
able to
thing-
make Harper just, well, she
Later,
wore
she
like
got that.
she wore a dress that had cars all over it and freeways.
Yeah.
And then, remember that? You had a beep beep, you had a beep beep and a steering wheel on her
Yes.
head.
Was that the
And
racing episode?
I'd no,
Yeah.
I don't. Who knows? I
who
think it was
knows?
a driver's
She had
license one.
so
or
much
something.
fun. So many
Yeah.
outrageous, like,
Yeah.
her costumes were so fun. And I thought, we have to make her makeup look, why can't we do we do
Right.
this? That this is
Yeah.
so fun. So, okay, what was the question?
What was your favorite? What was your favorite episode or look to do?
Oh gosh. This is when I have to see it. I didn't do my homework. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're fine.
I've been working.
You're a little busy.
I think, I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me noodle on that for a little bit.
Well,
'cause it's
when
been a
we-
minute.
you obviously are watching it while it's being filmed. You're checking
Yeah.
it out, all that stuff. Do you ever go back and watch any of the shows that you've ever worked on?
I don't like to typically.
No, yeah.
No, because then I'll just
just-
sit there and go, oh God, oh God, oh God. And then I'll have to watch it more than once.
Yeah, I get it though. I still have some
Right.
of those moments
Yeah.
rewatching it for this. Is
Yeah.
where I'm like,
Yeah.
and
I
you
don't
can't fix it.
remember
You can't
anything.
change it.
I don't remember, every once in a while I'll remember something, but I mean, it was
Yeah.
like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a
It was a
long
long time
time
ago.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I? I'm not watching it objectively,
Yeah.
which is interesting. I'm like, what am I about to do? What is happening here? You know?
What about the two of you? What do you remember and what looks did you remember from that? And
From
that
the
you enjoyed
first
the
and
most?
second season.
Yeah.
I mean, that bugging out, dad bugging out.
You
when
hated that
when
costume.
I turned into a cockroach.
Oh, that's right. I remember
You know,
that.
it was when, it was fun, but also a pain in the ass, and I couldn't pee, and you know what I mean? You're like,
Oh.
oh, I'm in this thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know, when I was doing Third Rock from the Sun,
He
I
never
can't
mentions
remember,
Oh.
can't remember what her name was, but she said to me, "You're very red. All you need is this, and you mix them together. That's what you should tell everybody."
Hmm.
And I just all I need to do is tone down my redness a little bit.
But you don't have to
know.
get rid of it. I would never. Now, the makeup I would do on you is very different than what I would have done then.
Well, it's been a minute.
Because
It's been- I've learned
I'm
a
more like
couple
of a
things.
tomato now.
Oh
No,
my God.
No,
your skin is just honestly, it hasn't changed in 15 years.
it.
I am mad at you.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
and likewise.
Well, that's
But-
because this is my job. I know how to do that.
There's something you're one of my favorite people, and there's something that can happen when you're working with someone that you just bring joy to the room,
Yeah.
you know, and it's
Yeah.
so nice. I just worked on something recently and they were like, "You're so nice." And I'm like, "Is everybody else an asshole? Like what? I'm just being
There's a lot of
me, you know?"
assholes.
There are, but there are also a lot of. I had somebody once said to me, they might also be just painfully shy,
Yeah.
and I thought, oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
I never thought that they might be really socially
Or scared. I
awkward
mean,
or
we've interviewed
scared or
some people. They're
uncomfortable.
like, "I was terrified." I was
Yeah.
like, "Well, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't get into that zone of being terrified. You know, I was nervous doing
Sure.
guest spots on things. you know.
Sure.
Okay, I
You're
have
the
to,
you're the new kid at school. You
Right.
know, it's
Yeah.
different.
and it's nice if you're guesting, like I did a guest on Saved by the Bell,
Okay.
and Mario Lopez came up to me, and they were all so nice.
Yeah.
You know, the one kid wasn't great, but
No reason not to be.
the welcoming thing when a guest is coming in and you're nice to them. I mean, I think that's a big deal. I want to ask
Yeah.
you this. So have you ever done a job where you really didn't like the person? We're not talking about Wizards, talking about something else. Is there
Oh.
something where, and what do you do with that? I mean, you're there working. You just
You have to work so
tolerate,
intimately with
Yeah.
because
people.
there are some actors. Everybody knows there's some
We're not
actors that
asking
are
you to name names.
assholes.
No, I wouldn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think you try to find something that you like about them, and or you also try to do your job well, because
Yeah.
it's not about us, right? We think it's not about. You have to try to leave your ego. Listen, my ego walks through that door plenty. I try to leave it out, but it does. We're humans. We can't
Yeah.
help it. So I think that what do you do when you're in that situation? I mean, you just make the best for it, or you see if you get somebody else to watch them.
I love how you went to somebody else is
Somebody
like,
else did it.
you know.
And I think as a person who's been the department head for the last chunk of my life
Mhm.
and my career, I could do that. I could be like, hey,
Yeah. Pass the baton.
Right.
and I'm
Pass
the
the
boss, so
bitchy
nobody
baton.
can say anything.
Right.
Well, and speaking of being a department head, you went from being key during seasons 1 and 2 to when we did Alex versus Alex, that special, you got to come back as a department head.
Yes.
Right. So what did you notice that changed from you were there at the very beginning and all of a sudden, basically at the tail end? So you bookended sort of our Wizards
Right.
experience.
Right.
So what did you remember about that experience and how things had changed after all that time?
That's a great question. What did I notice had changed? I mean, everybody kind of grew up a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's about it. But other than that, and I had more questions for the crew, I feel like. And I mean, we had kept in contact and we had kept
Yeah.
in contact. So the people that I probably interacted with the most, I'd kept in contact with.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? And it's just, I don't know. I think for me, it was a job. So,
Fair.
I was grateful and honored to be asked back and to be considered to be part of it. That was really great. For
I
sure.
had a hard time with
It was
the
insane.
Alex versus Alex.
Well, it was
That
different.
tough for me.
It was very
because
different.
we
It
were
wasn't
out of
the show.
contract,
Yeah.
and then when I negotiated, I
Don't
did,
do this.
I'm not going to say
again.
anything bad. It just is they put something on the table for me, and I was like, okay, finally, we've gotten to a place where I'm happy. And then 2 hours later, they came and reneged that.
Why?
You know, they
That's Disney.
because it's Disney and they can do that.
Do the
And I
thing,
was
do the
like,
thing,
ah,
do the thing.
Disney.
You
That's
know,
what
yeah.
I do. But I'm very happy that Disney gave me a job.
Is it
and
just
then-
me or is it hot in here?
I'm hot.
I'm really
Look
warm.
for look for laser Mickey.
But it was interesting. And also, when I read the script, I was like, oh my God, we're going to Italy. And then we went to Santa Clarita.
Come on, it's Disney. Of course we're not going to Italy. Of
We're not
course
going
we're
to-
not going to Italy.
But we went but for the movie. We went to Puerto Rico for a second.
That's Puerto Rico. That's not
Okay.
Italy.
I didn't do
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so you did seasons 1 and 2 of Wizards. You did Alex versus Alex, but you did other Disney shows and Nick shows as well. You did
Yes.
Sunny with a Chance, Liv and Maddie, Belle and the Bulldogs, and the new Thunderman Returns.
That's right.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, how was that?
That was a lot of fun. It was crazy. It was the last show I did before the strike happened.
Oh.
and
Took us
the
right up to the strike.
director is Jason Thomas Gordon's brother-in-law.
Twice removed.
I can't remember his.
Sister's husband's
Hamster.
brother. Hamster.
I was gonna ask.
Hold on.
It's on the
what's
tip of my
starting
tongue
again?
right now, too. It's on the.
I'm trying so hard, Dylan.
Dion.
Lovely.
Dion is his wife, who was the.
Look it up because I
Look
don't
it up.
remember either.
Look
right
it up,
now.
and then we'll start over again.
That show was wild.
Fucking,
My friend Aaron did she was the department head for the first or second season, I think.
Mhm.
So I had told her I got it, and I made sure. I was like, "Are you okay with me doing this?" And she said, "Absolutely." So Chris, oh God, no, he was
Thunderman.
movie.
He
Well,
worked
the
on
Thundermans
the
were
show
friends.
for a lot too.
What
Yeah.
the fuck are you talking
So
about?
I'm gonna find it.
I forgot. It was one of the APOCs from the guy who called me, the producer for me,
yeah.
was I had met on Sunny with a Chance.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And we had just
Work
we used
begets
to,
work, baby.
I mean,
Trevor.
Trevor. Oh yeah, Trevor's
Yeah.
lovely. Thank you for remembering.
Okay,
But everybody was great.
Jen's gonna do the question again, and I'll
Yeah. A lot of kids and a lot of adult shows.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that sounds wrong.
No, hold on. I got you. Okay. All right. We're calm and we're starting from a nice clean spot. Okay. So you did season 1 and 2 of Wizards. You did Alex versus Alex, but those weren't the only Disney and Nick shows that you did. You did Sunny with a Chance, Liv and Maddie, Bella and the Bulldogs, and recently the Thundermans returned. What is something like, how does working on a kid's show compare to like working on It's Always Sunny? Because those have to be very different.
Well, there's a lot more swear words.
Well, sure.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are different. Kid shows are great in a lot of ways too, because they can be really fun, and you can.
And
Yes.
you're I don't mean to put this in your mouth, but the kids have to be done at a certain time, so your hours
It's David's
are less.
favorite thing
That's
about
nice.
it.
I mean, I do love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. It's fantastic.
Was it different working for Disney rather than Nickelodeon?
Not really. I feel yes, a little bit. Not a ton, but I feel like in light of everything that's happening right now, I do feel like in the limited exposure that I've had, I feel like Nickelodeon might have been easier on the kids than Disney.
Disney, well,
Interesting.
but Disney, because I feel that because I had friends
Okay.
that worked on Nick, and it's Disney very much has an image that it wants to uphold, and so there's a lot of pressure. Like I remember feeling pressure, like going on red carpets and stuff, because I swear like a sailor. I'm very sarcastic, like all those kind of things, and I've always been that way.
Yes.
But then I would go on these like Disney carpets and stuff, and representing the brand. And I remember seeing interviews back when I'm a teenager, and I have this high pitched voice. I'm talking really fast. It's more like Harper because I didn't know what else to do.
Of course.
And so that's where I feel like the big difference is. Like Nickelodeon's a bit looser. It allows the kids to be kids and be themselves. And Disney was very much like, no, you have to fit in this like, well, and also too, when we were coming up on the show, it was the Purity Ring era. It was like
Yeah.
the whole,
I didn't understand that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it like
I never had a
snowballed.
purity ring. I didn't.
You had 2 kids.
Yeah.
So that would have been a little silly. But I mean, it was also silly for like, I mean, come on, like Miley and Demi had purity rings, and they definitely were not honoring that during that phase.
Purity
So
ring. Let's just tell me it means we're together, but we're not sleeping together.
no, purity ring means I'm not going to have sex till I get married.
Oh,
It's a religious thing that says I'm not going to have sex till I'm married, which
I didn't know that.
Disney High, that was not happening. They were not abstaining. It was a very, whatever. Anyway, so speaking of It's Always Sunny, what's it like working on that set? You
It's
did
fantastic.
done
I'm such a
so
huge
many
fan.
episodes.
Oh,
it's
good.
so funny.
It's really funny. It's actually part of the thing that's hard about watching the show after it's been edited is it's very funny, and it's so fun and funny to work on the show. You're watching it happen. You're seeing the alternate takes. You're seeing the things that always end up on the editing floor.
Yeah, like what's
and
possible.
so what's possible.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's amazing that they can tell a story in 5 minutes because the commercials and everything like that. Now
Yeah.
it used to be, 28, and now it's 17 or again 5. And
Right.
so it's amazing. The writing's fantastic. The acting's fantastic. It's a great group of people. The whole cast is magical. And
And you started, what'd you say, season
6.
Yeah.
I only did half, and then I left to go do Entourage. I don't know what season that was. It was very different.
I bet.
But also lovely people.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think I just every time, because Sunny only shoots at that time it only shot for 2 months, and now we only shoot
wow.
for 6 weeks. We block shoot everything. We block shoot the
What-
show.
Can you tell us what block shoot means?
Pull a Deloise.
I'll do my
Block
best. You're probably
shooting
better at
is-
this. So we double block shoot then. So let's say we have 8 episodes. We'll shoot 4 at a time. So we might shoot 3 different episodes
Wow.
in a day.
So if
So it's
you're
kind of
in
like
the
soap opera
bar,
status.
Maybe. I don't know. I've never worked on
But if
They
you-
would
one
do
of the
like
few
multiple episodes in a week.
things. Yes.
so but if you're in the bar you're shooting all the scenes in 4 different episodes in the bar. Is that what's happening? Is that what you mean?
Typically, yeah.
Yeah.
So if it'll be 4 different episodes in a day,
Okay, so you're shooting out that location.
a lot of the time, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll have to go back and forth. It's wild.
Yeah.
So, but
That's a lot of continuity that you have to keep to track.
But thankfully,
Yes.
like their
Yes.
makeup, I mean, I know sometimes they have like specialty things, which has to be
Yeah.
incredibly difficult to keep
Yes.
the continuity with that. But at least their makeup overall stays pretty
yeah, it does.
the same.
It does.
Right? Which helps with that.
And I think, yes, it does. It does help with that a lot. And, it just is very run and gun, that show, which is
Yeah.
great. I learned a lot and still continue to learn a lot on that show. And I love working with, I tell Rob this all the time. I'm like, I am writing your coattails. For as long as you'll have me on them, I am writing them
Well, and that's
because
the-
I love working with them. I
Do you
love
go
working
with
with
them
them.
to other.
I do Mythic Quest with Rob.
Oh, I
with
love
Caitlin
that
Wright.
show.
Yeah,
It's
you
so
do?
good.
Yeah, it's great. This is the last week of filming.
really?
So I started this season, and then a friend of mine, Brandy Sharp, took over, and then I left to go be with Caitlin on High Potential, and now they're on their last week this week
Okay.
and they always do one episode that's a standalone episode.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And the first season, I think we did a flashback episode, and that was crazy. We had like, I don't know, 200 zombies that we had to like
Really?
slam.
Casually.
We had so many. We
Yeah.
had like a whole separate trailer full of prosthetics
Jeez
going.
Louise.
And then we had another room with a bunch of people doing just paint and powder of making different stages of zombies. And we had one, my key at the time she had the hero girl who had to stay pretty, and she wanted to do other stuff. And I'm like, no, you're the only one of us that's clean. You have to, you're the only one who can touch her. Please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't get your hand dirty with all this other stuff. I need you in
Right.
that position.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. So every season they do a standalone of flashback.
I remember
of
that
some
because
sort.
in the first season they did one where it was like the creation of it, the beginning. They went back to
Well,
how
we
it
did
started.
2 of those then.
2 of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
When how is it going? Because I mean, you've worked with I'm gonna look at their names. 'Cause
Okay.
But Charlie Day, Glenn Howard, and Rob McElhenney and Caitlin Olsen.
Yeah.
You've kind of gone with them, like you were saying, riding their coattails. But
Yeah.
in I love that they're bringing you into their new creative endeavors. How is
Yeah.
it working with this group of people so intimately as you
It's
do as a
magic.
makeup artist, and then seeing these other creative endeavors that they go into?
It's wonderful. It's magical.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so grateful to be a part of it. And they're such lovely human beings that's
They seem like it.
that's really what I wanted in my career,
Yeah.
is just to work with nice people.
Does Danny DeVito make jokes all the time? Is he a card or
He's
is he
a-
calm? Because I worked with Christopher Lloyd and he was like this. Action. Wow, wow, wow. You
He
know what I
turned it
mean?
on?
Like,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
turns it on for the thing. But what is he kind of, chill while he's not on or?
Danny's lovely.
Yeah.
He's also just magical. He's so smart and such a great storyteller and charming and wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes he probably stays a little bit in character. And those characters are the worst people on the planet. They're
so
horrible.
bad.
They're
They're so
horrible.
bad.
And so, but never in a way that's horrible. But they're just, Danny's great. He's if he's tired, or like anybody is, if you're tired, you want to take a break.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
not tired, you're welcome to engage. It just depends. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
depends on how you feel that day or that moment or whatever it is. But Danny's great.
Well, I hate to have to wrap it up because we could talk to you for.
Oh.
We say we have so much love for just our Wizards family, and you
Yeah.
were so much a part of that, and there since the beginning.
Yeah.
And you always say we could talk to you forever, but we could, and we're gonna go to lunch. We're gonna go to lunch.
We're long overdue.
Long,
And I'm sad.
long.
I hope your mom comes out soon because
Yes.
I'd like to see her.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm
Okay.
sure she will. But
Okay.
I'm gonna wrap it up with
Okay.
if you had to pick like a favorite Wizards memory to bring it back to Wizards,
Okay.
what would you say?
Other than the rap party where no.
Actually, you know what? One of my favorite things is, and I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying this. I don't think so.
Uh-oh.
That's okay.
It was a different era.
Everybody,
it was a different
you
era,
ready?
everybody. So after the live show, everybody would just hang out. And we'd usually
Yeah.
go to the office and we'd hang out in the kitchen and
Yeah.
drink, like we would have, there was maybe a bottle of tequila or something like that.
Mhm.
Nobody got wasted or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it was just a social hour. And
I snuck
everybody
a few
just,
shots in there
I
over
mean,
the years.
sure, why not? Like, at least you were surrounded by people who were going to protect you.
Yeah.
So I think one of my favorite things about that was that camaraderie and that appreciation for each other and just the kindness and the fellowship of it. I loved that. That was the thing that took me away. That's one of the things that I really love. And I loved having hiatuses and I could go work on features or something and come back. And it was like a big family. And that way I love it.
Yeah, it was such a safe space.
Yes.
It was definitely a safe space and a family. Typically people are working together and they're like, okay, done working. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But the fact that we all still, every once in a while, I get to hang out with everybody. And you know, it was such a, for lack of a better description, it was such a magical place to be because everybody was like a family.
Well, we wanted to be around each other. It wasn't like, because some jobs you're forced to be around your co-stars and, you know, there's always like outlier people or whatever, but like overall, we all just really enjoyed being around each other.
Yeah.
Which makes this process really fun, is getting to reconnect with people.
Absolutely. I bet that must be
Not that we need an excuse, but
no, but it is a nice thing to revisit and to explore and see at the different, because we might have said different things if you'd asked at the moment of the time of it. But I do, and I like that everybody really got along well. Like our showrunners were awesome and everybody was so fun and nice and friendly and supportive. And if you had a problem, you could talk to them about it and they really wanted to help you. Like everybody was interested in elevating other people. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I loved that.
And we were lucky. We were lucky.
We were really lucky. It was a special,
a
special, unique time because that doesn't happen every time.
Well,
and we were really lucky.
You were a special, unique person.
Yeah.
And I love you so much. We love you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. And you did great on camera. I know you were like so nervous about like being on camera, but you did so good.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even look. I just looked at the two of you.
Don't look. Don't look.
I just, you two are just, I love those faces.
We love your
faces.
We love your faces.
You're so great. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.